probably see what I was doing.
I'm watching it on here. If anything goes wrong, I'll let you know.
So, we're putting our yellow up in here. That was fun. For some reason I was being viewed sideways. I don't understand that, but this is the way it goes. Hopefully everybody's caught back up. Now I went to that. Now I'm going to go into some orange with the same dirty brush. And just come out here. And bring your orange around this edge a little bit here. I'm not looking for too many happy accidents this time. So, here we go. Now we're going to go into a little bit of this goldish color. This is yellow ochre. It's like a gold color. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in here. Just a hint of this color. And again, all I'm doing is I'm just using the same dirty brush. Okay. And then we're going to go into crimson, alizarin crimson. And we're going to just bring this on out here. And I tell you, these skies, they look kind of crazy until you get everything the way you want them. So, there we go. Got a little bit of that color there. Now we're going to go into a little bit of blue. This is the ultramarine, French ultramarine blue. Just come out on this side. Put this blue in here. That just gives you a nice little purple at the end of this. Get you some more of that. Blue. I'm starting to get a little bit of a dry canvas here. I had my linseed oil on, and as you can see, it's beginning to be a little bit harder to blend because because there's not much oil on this canvas. I wiped it off, but I've got it pretty dry in here right now. So let's clean the brush off real quick. And just beat the devil out of it. So now I'm going to go into a little bit of white. And we're going to go up in here and just go ahead and work in this white right at this top edge. And just bring it on out. This is going to be a nice bright area. And then just go back and forth. And it's just going to be a wild looking sky here. Okay. And we're going to take a little bit of this blue. And this blue is just going to be down here. This is going to give us some shadows and stuff in the snow. We'll try to hurry this along. This is going to be different than water because it doesn't have to be straight across. You're just putting in some color here and there. Okay. There we go. Now we've got a nice little start. So now what we're going to do, get this brush cleaned off again. And then we're going to take some black, take our blue, take some black, just bring it out here toward the middle. Maybe a little bit of this red. And just a touch of that yellow ochre. We're just going to take part of that because we don't need too much. We'll put it back down here with this color. Wipe our knife off on a towel, and then we're just going to come in here and get some of that black color. And we're going to start with a little bit of mountains here. Scrape it out a little bit there. We want to get the tops of these mountains nice. Another little peak here, and then this is just going to be pulled off here to the side. Now your mountains are always going to look a little rough at first, but you just hang in there, they will turn out good. Here's another little peak here, and pretty much every time you go to do a mountain, it's going to look a little different each time. And like I said, I've kind of got it nice and warm in here, so it is soaking up my oil real nice and quick. Okay. And then I think we're going to have another little peak here. I think this one here is going to be just comes back here like this. Okay. A little bit of that. And then we'll just bring this on down a little bit. Okay. And you can fix the tops of these mountains a little bit at a time here. kind of smash it into that canvas and just bring it on it over there. And it basically, we're going to scrape that back off of there. Okay, give me a little spot to work with here. Got all that black right here. So now we're going to go back to our brush. Go back to this little brush. Here we go. I got these peaks of the mountains kind of small, so what we're going to do is kind of make sure you keep the tips of your mountains, and then whenever you get down here, it's going to blend out, okay? These are nice dark mountains up in this bright sky. And then maybe this one comes down here like this. And see, this part of the mountain here, I wanted it behind this bigger section here. So, you see how that, I just pulled that out in front of it. That's what we want to do. It's not really a big deal right now, but when we put our highlights, you'll see we will fix that. Then come at this little peak here. Maybe this keeps coming down like that. Okay. So, we got a nice little sky. We got the snow. We're going to be putting in here. Okay. Now what we're going to do, clean that brush up a little bit because we're going to keep using that off and on here. You got to beat the devil out of that little brush too. So, I'm going to go in here to this white because this is just snow-covered hills up here. So, there's a little bit of a just kind of touch, start your peak, and then very lightly run that edge. And because this one here is going to be further back, I'm just kind of letting that snow taper off back here. Because this is your furthest away point. So keep our knife kind of wiped off. Then I come up in here, and remember, this is very light pressure that you're putting on here. Okay, and don't forget, we got to come in here, put this little bit of white here in the middle, take a little bit of this blue that's over here, mix it in. This is going to be our shadows behind this, okay? So it's lighter than the highlights, and it's darker than the other section. Now, you see where I put this right here? I'll put just a little bit behind here, a little bit of this blue, just to make that pop up a little bit. And you're basically just pulling back from your original highlights. And what that's going to do, it allows that to stand up, okay? And then maybe there's a couple little highlights that come down here. Okay, just scrape that back off, pull your white back out. Okay, maybe there's another little peak here that's got to come out this way. Yeah, maybe it comes out here like that. Okay. And as you know, mountains are like trees. They can be formed any different ways. God made everything that He made so unique. So with mountains, we can do pretty much anything we want and make them beautiful. So take the white again, and you're basically just going back and forth with this white. This one here just has, it's going to show the little peak up here. Okay, there's a little peak here, and then this peak, I'm going to push that peak back a little bit with this color right here. So your darker color is going to come right on back. And you want these little holes to appear in that because that gives you the rocky look. You want to see that rock formation. And the thing is that this thing can just have peaks and valleys and stuff everywhere. So, and maybe this one had a little bit more snow down here. Okay. Okay. And maybe back here, you know, you got a little bit of maybe there's a little overhang here that just drops down back in there. Then come back. We don't want this to be left out, so we want to put a couple dark things back here. I'm going to try to keep track of time a little bit here today. Okay. So, the fun part with mountains is you can just keep working them over and over. You can bring another, say there's another peak that just sets right here. And then it comes down here. Maybe there's a little bit of that runs over this edge. But you have to be creative. And maybe, you know, there's a little bit of snow that's fallen over this edge a little bit here. But that's something that Bob Ross showed is so cool, to be able to go in here and move mountains around, have a little bit of control over something you're creating. I thought that was such a cool thing. And maybe in here there's a little touch of that dark color. But as you can see, it makes those rocks stand out. And then there's like a crevice back in there. Okay. I don't want to run out of time today, so I'm going to try to... Now this one here, it's going to basically... Maybe it comes over there. And it's going to come out in front of this one. Okay? Because this is the closest mountain to us right here. So we just bring it out here in front. Okay, now come back in here with this dark color, and basically you're just steadily wiping off one color, putting another color, and that's the way that works. So we're going to come here, just put some of this background color here. Okay. And then maybe we'll have just a little bit of this white. Maybe there's a little cap of white back here. It just comes down. And maybe the back of this mountain. You know, there's not much back there, but maybe it has just a little lip of white that sets back in here. Maybe it even comes over this back edge. Okay? But this is my mountain. You could do whatever you want with your mountain. Maybe there's a little bit of this dark color back in here. Maybe a little bit sets behind this. And then it just comes okay. So we'll make that our mountain for today. We got to get in here with this little brush. We're just tapping this down here just to smooth the bottom edge of this mountain. It just gives you a little bit of mist down here. Kind of go with the angles of this mountain. Okay. And then you just follow the angles of the mountains very lightly. Just brush it back. Okay? Okay. So, clean our brush. And just beat the dough out of it. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is I have two of the 2-inch brushes that I have this dark color that we've been using. I'm going to take a little bit of this white and just go into our dark color here. Okay. And the only reason I want to do that is to lighten this up a little bit. I don't want these trees to be overbearing right at the moment. But here we go. Okay. First things first. Here, we're going to go ahead and bring down, we're going to do a little bit of trees here. Just come down and tap and tap and tap. You'll get a little cluster of trees here. Pretty easy. Just tap back and forth. Maybe a couple of them go up here, back in here. And the reason I like to do this is, you know, for one, you can break up this hill that's back in here. And you know, these trees just come straight on back here. And you know, whenever you get up in here and you get a little tree hanging out there, it really looks good against this.
Hold on, Dad. There you go. And we're back.
What was happening?
You were buffering.
Okay. Well, okay, so what I did is just I put a little bit of white back in here, just up in these trees, okay? And that's just something that they'll show up whenever I put some other things up in front of here. Okay, so now what we want to do is take that dark color that I had on this other brush, okay, come back out here and see, you could throw just a couple more trees here, and you'll see that that little spot, you know, where I put that white is going to show up kind of nicely. Okay, maybe there's just a couple more bushes that hang out here, and you can see there's another little plane there. So we just pop this up, give us a couple of those trees sticking up there, and maybe this comes right on out here like this. And it's still quite a ways away. Even though it looks like it's getting a lot closer, you have to look at maybe there's a tree here. I just put this in with the fan brush real quick here. It's just going to give me a lot of tree limbs hanging down. Okay. And I thought about putting you know, Christmas tree looking trees over in this area, but you know what? Sometimes it's just nicer to just throw a couple trees in here like this. Okay, so you see, you could take this, your fan brush can be used a lot of different ways. And because this tree is a little bit bigger, we're going to go right down in here, and then maybe throw a couple little smaller trees and things that are here. Things that are a little bit further back. Remember I said before, you just tap a little lighter with your brush, and it'll show other little trees back here in the distance, okay? Nice and light. And see, I'm using just like the corner of that fan brush, so I can create bushes and things like that, alright? So, now what I want to do, I got my big 1-inch brush that I use to put the clouds and stuff in the sky. If I take that, and I can start adding a little bit of snow here and there. And what this is going to do is just, it makes it where I can really put in some snow pretty fast. Okay. That brush is a little soft. Let me switch over to this brush here. this brush will let me get into corners and crevices a lot better. So let me just bring out some snow areas back in here.
You're back on that.
Take and scrape some tree limbs up in here. And then maybe there's a couple down here. Closer. Well guys, sorry that this thing's acting up, because I was really hoping that we weren't going to have a lot of trouble with this painting here. Okay, so I got that. Now I'm going to just throw a couple highlights here and there. Get my tree branches the way I like them. Basically, like we did before, you just keep your tree branches all clumped up where you want them. Okay. And don't forget to get on YouTube and subscribe and like, and we'll be putting names in a drawing here soon for subscribers. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of new to YouTube, so I'm not sure. I know I can find all the subscribers' names. I don't know about keeping up with likes and stuff like that. I gotta figure all that out. But I know I can find your subscribers' names, and I'll know who I have to put in drawings. So if you want to get a hold of a couple paintings, you know where to reach me. And if you see any that you like, this here was last week's, or 2 weeks ago. So, there we go. Now, I'll go ahead and get rid of this. Get rid of that color off my brush. All that's going to do is give me a couple okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to go up in here. You see I got, just going to go up in here. We got this is going to be just a little Christmas tree here. And basically you're going back and forth just on the tip of your fan brush here. And you're just going back and forth. Bring that tree right on down here. And as you get closer to the bottom, you just put more pressure and you'll end up getting bigger limbs. And there we go. So, I'm not sure exactly how much time I have right now. I tried to watch the video while I was painting, and that didn't quite work out. So now I got to rely on just my thought process on whether I've been here for an hour or a half hour or whatever. thanks for hanging on with me. So basically we're just throwing these trees up in here. And maybe this one comes on down in front of this other one, okay? And like I said before, you could put these on the dark color. You can put those on just about any way you want, because you're going to come back in with the light color, and you're going to and I tell you what, we got a little bit of pink in that sky, so won't we just make this tree just have a little bit of pink, because that'll bring out the sky in this tree a little bit. And as you see, there was a couple crazy little limbs there that just popped out there. Now, I didn't mean to do that, but when you're painting, you just really don't know what's going to happen, to tell you the truth. And this brush, I mean, this tree's really got a lot of character. See, it's just got all kinds of little snow hanging different places. It's exciting. So now, I'm going to go and do my other tree. It's a little bit further back, so it picked up some of that black color a little bit. And turned it in more of a purplish color. So, but that's okay. I mean, because when you're painting, you're going to have little things that happen, and you just use them to your advantage, make them work. And the main thing is, you know, here, you don't want to get rid of your dark colors, because, man, that really makes it look good having just little highlights on that, on those branches there. So now, let me just go ahead and throw a little bit more white on here, because I did make a little bit of a mess. And we'll be finished with this picture here soon, so just hang in there. And I'm going to just scratch in a couple sticks and twigs, and maybe put a couple little things here and there. We're going to bring the snow. We're going to bring the snow out under these trees. And as you can see, like I told you before, you can just start making the ground do whatever you want to do. Because you can raise a hill here, make it dip down. You know, my idea is that this here has hills and valleys all the way through it. So if you just take it, and maybe this is the main area here that just is going back and forth. And this is just a 1-inch brush, kind of a cheap brush, but it does very well. It's like hog hair brush. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and finish this snow off here. This snow just goes straight across. Finally levels out here. I'll show you what we can do here. If you get where snow is giving you a lot of problems, you come back with your 2-inch brush, and this is our last little thing that we're going to do, and then we'll be finished. Okay, take your 2-inch brush and just get your white paint on there. And when you pull this one across, it will really fix all of your snow. I mean, it will make everything nice and smooth. And see, when I decide I want this to just roll like this, I just grab it. Your 2-inch brush is very nice to work with. Maybe there's a couple shadows down here. Okay, so take my all we're gonna do is a couple little sticks, a little piece of patch of grass sticking up here and there. Okay. Okay, that's just showing you a couple different ways of making some grass sticking up. You'll see some light, darker and lighter back in here. But you always want to put a little extra detail in here so that people will be impressed. It looks like you really have worked hard at making this come to life. See, you got this fan brush does so many different things. You always have a couple little grass things that stick up out of the snow, so just don't forget to throw some of the details in there. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. God bless. Take care.